welcome back to the Pour Over Podcast.
What is up, Pop Fam? Welcome back to another episode of the Pour Over Podcast. If you are new here, allow me to introduce myself to you, introduce the pod to you. My name is Kyla. I'm 22 years old and I live in Arizona. I'm a Christian. I love the Lord. I love Jesus. He is honestly my everything. Anytime anybody asks me, "What is Jesus to you?" or like, "Who is Jesus in your life?" I literally tell them, "He is my everything." Like, everything I do in my life revolves around him. Everything in my life is just all about him. And I don't say that to sound like that weird churchy girl that like is just crazy, but like genuinely, like Jesus really is my everything. And everything I do in my life, I always try to do according to his will and to honor him and glorify him and reach more people for him, and I try to do it from the overflow of love in my heart from the Lord. So yeah, that's me. I love the Lord. I'm a huge coffee fan. I am a coffee, I don't want to say addict, but I think if you know me and you're listening to this and I don't say I'm like a little bit addicted to coffee, you will probably come for me and you will probably call me out. So I'm just going to say it. I'm a little bit of a coffee addict, but I mean, who isn't these days? Who isn't addicted to caffeine in some way? And if you're not, try it. It's wonderful. But yes, I love coffee. I was a barista for 3 years. And yes, coffee is it's my thing. It's my thing and, Jesus and coffee, it's like really my whole life, but that's a little bit about me. Welcome to the pod. This podcast releases every Tuesday. I try to do it early in the morning. And basically, this podcast is just a place where believers can come and be poured into. So then we can go out and pour into others as we try to be better disciples and to make disciples of all nations, as we are called in the Great Commission. So, this is just a pod that is a safe space for believers to come and listen and talk through things that sometimes we go through and we don't always get a chance to talk about it and we don't always hear it get brought up in the settings we're typically in. And I always say on this podcast, we are Christians, but we're also human and we go through things. And sometimes those things are kind of hard or scary or challenging. And especially as believers, we want to come at everything in life from the perspective of how can I do this the way Jesus would do it? Like, what would Jesus want me to do in this situation? How can I handle this in a way that still honors and glorifies the Lord while, pursuing what he wants that's best for me? So, that's what this podcast is for. And sometimes I try to spice it up a little bit and just do some fun episodes as well. That's actually what we're doing today. But I like to keep it fun. I like to keep it, intentional and real. And, I still like to have fun here. In case you haven't been able to tell already, I'm a little bit of a yapper. I like to chat. I like to chat. And when I get in comfortable settings, the super extrovert in me comes out and I just never stop talking. So if you feel like, oh my gosh, this girl's been talking nonstop for 3.5 minutes, don't you worry. I can talk for so much longer than that. But today's episode is very fun and it's a little bit different. Actually, it's not a little bit different. It's very different from anything that I've ever done. Why is there a stranger walking past my window? That's weird. Anyways, if you are watching this on YouTube, you probably saw that weird look on my face. By the way, before I get into today's episode, I do want to do a little bit of a plug. You guys, the podcast is literally everywhere, okay? I am on Apple Podcasts, I'm on Spotify, we're on YouTube if you want to watch the video version of the podcast. Also, the podcast has a TikTok and an Instagram. It's at the Pour Over Pod for both. And I think it's the Pour Over Pod or the Pour Over Podcast on basically everything. So just look for my happy, smiling face and lots of yellow. And that is what you will see when you find me. But yes, please go give the podcast a follow if you listen to this episode and you're like, okay, I could kind of get used to listening to this girl talk for a while. Yeah, I would love for you to be a follower and join the Pop fam. And be on this journey with me. I love being on this journey with you guys. I get a lot of really good feedback from you guys, and I just love when someone comes up to me and they're like, "I listened to your podcast. I love it so much. It's so cool that you do that." It means a lot because sometimes it's crazy out here, guys. Having a podcast that is a smaller podcast with a little bit of a smaller audience and a smaller reach while trying to, of course, grow it so more people can listen and we can, gain more people on this journey together. It's hard out here, guys. It's hard, and I'm a self-taught girl, so I just do my best out here. But if you like this episode and you think you can get used to listening to me talk about my life and my experiences and about the Lord and sometimes coffee, go ahead, give me a follow, give the podcast a follow. I would love to make you a part of the podcast family here. But getting back into today's episode, it is very different from anything that I have done on the podcast before. Like I said, I like to keep it fun sometimes. I do a lot of Bible teaching. Every third episode, we do a deep dive into scripture. And I like to always come at things from the perspective of a believer and how we can take stuff in the Bible, apply it to our lives, how what we're going through might not be like this specific situation might not be in the Bible, but there is a place in the Bible where we can see that and be like, oh, okay, this is what Jesus would want me to do. This is how we can get closer to the Lord in this situation. This is how we can use this to reach more people for Him. I love doing that. And that is the main point of the podcast. But every once in a while, I like to spice things up, make it jazzy up in here. So today I am going to be reading your hot takes. Okay, so when I say I'm going to be reading your hot takes, I made a little link. I posted it on the podcast Instagram and on my personal Instagram as well, where you guys could submit some of your hot takes and just some things that you have an opinion on and you're sharing your opinion and it might not be popular, it might be a little controversial, but every once in a while, we just need to chit chat. And I like hearing from you guys. I like hearing your perspective. And so today I am spicing it up and I'm going to be reading some of your hot takes. I am a little nervous. I just screenshotted a bunch and I was like, we're just going to go for it. And then, of course, as I read them, I'm going to talk a little bit about whether I agree, whether I disagree, if I think you're totally wrong, if I think you're absolutely right. I think this episode will be really fun and kind of relaxed. And I think you guys will start to get a little bit more of my personality and who I am from this episode. So I guess let's just get into it. Okay, I'm going to start with the first one I saw. Okay. Pineapple belongs on pizza. Wait, why is this, like, kind of uncomfortable for me? I don't know, this feels weird, like, sharing your guys' opinions. Wait, should I, like, cut this and, like, not do an episode? I'm just kidding. This is gonna be fun. I'm just gonna go for it. Okay, pineapple belongs on pizza. Um, Please don't think I'm a psychopath, but I actually I actually enjoy pineapple on pizza. I don't think it's bad. I don't normally get it on my pizza. I am a veggie pizza kind of girl all the way, and I do not like thin crust. Don't even come at me with the thin crust, okay? It just doesn't taste right to me. I just don't like it. So, I'm definitely not going to be getting on the thin crust train. But I prefer my pizza with mostly veggies. I don't really like meat pizza, but I don't think there's anything wrong with pineapple on pizza. Like, if it comes on the pizza, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, take it off. Like, I think it's fine. And I think it's actually sometimes it brings like a little bit of sweetness to the pizza, which isn't bad. I mean, in my opinion, I think it's fine. I think pineapple on pizza is good sometimes. I know that's a hot take, and I can't believe it's 2025 and we still as a society have not come to a consensus. I know it's because everybody has different tastes, different likes, different experiences. I get that. But I just think it's really interesting how it's still so controversial. Like you bring this up in a public setting and people get heated. They actually get heated. Like they actually will start fighting people over it. And I'm like, wait, this is actually kind of crazy. I do want to preface this whole episode by saying that, like, if you disagree with me on anything, feel free to comment. I'm not gonna judge you. Definitely not gonna judge you. But it's totally cool. Like I know there are things I get heated on that are probably ridiculous. So that's fair. But I just don't see how this is something that we as a society should be so worked up about. Like, it's pineapple on pizza. Let people live. It's not like you're putting, like, I don't know, what's something crazy to put on pizza? Eggs. You will never catch me putting eggs on pizza. I don't even know if that's ever been done. But that I can understand. That would be a little crazy, but for me, I think pineapple on pizza is just fine. Okay, next one. Pugs are ugly. Oh, this is I mean, okay. Okay, hear me out. I don't I don't think pugs are, like, ugly. I just don't think they're, like sorry, I'm saying "like" a lot because 'cause I'm uncomfortable. I just don't think they're very cute. I don't think they're ugly, but I don't think they're very cute. They're definitely not the cutest dogs out there, for sure. I feel like that's just, like, a given. But I know a lot of people who are, like, obsessed with pugs, and I don't really understand the obsession, I'll be honest. Like, there are different dog breeds that I love and that I want and hopefully will get one day, but I'm not, like, obsessed with a specific breed. Maybe it's just because I love all dogs, but there is, like, an actual, like, pug obsession. Like, the people who are, like, obsessed with pugs, like, they get, like, stickers of pugs and, like, posters of pugs and, like, backpacks and wallets and T-shirts with pugs, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. I get it. Pugs are, they're cool. I love dogs. I'm all for it." But I do think there is a borderline odd obsession with pugs. I don't know. I feel like society just kind of deemed them like the meme dog, I guess, like the dog we would use to make memes? I don't know. Maybe it's because of the way they look. Maybe it's because of their faces. I don't know. I mean, I think they definitely have their perks. I mean, like I said, I love all dogs. I think they're cute, but they're definitely not the cutest dog. Um, in my opinion. I don't think pugs are ugly, but I don't think they're that cute. But I love all dogs, so I'm not gonna hate on them. Okay, next one. Oh, I might get heated about this one. Okay, next hot take, Samsung is better than Apple. I'm gonna put my phone down for this one. Okay, if you're not already listening on YouTube, if you're not watching on YouTube, I want you to close out Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and I want you to open YouTube, go to the Pour Over Pod. Hopefully, you're already subscribed, and I want you to open up this video at this point. I think we're at like maybe like 14 minutes, 15 minutes now. I don't know. I want you to let me look you in the eyes as I say this, okay? I'm leaning in even. Like I really hope you're seeing this right now. Samsung is not better than Apple, okay? I understand that Samsung is a good brand. I get it, it's cool, but it's not better than Apple. I feel like there's a million reasons why you just need to get on you just need to get with the program. Like it's 2025, guys. There's no way we're still saying that Samsung is better than Apple. Like come on. Like you've had your time, you've had your chance. Let's get with the program. I feel like that's a general consensus for the most part. And if you aren't on that train yet, if you're not there yet, let's get there. Let's get there. Buy an iPad, buy AirPods, like something, like I feel like you just haven't had enough experience with Apple. And I think once you experience Apple and their products, you will not ever go back. And I will say, my dad is a huge Samsung and Galaxy guy. You know, he's never which I think it's so funny that he's never switched over to Apple because my mom and I both have Apple. We're all Apple people, and he's committed. He's committed to Samsung and Galaxy. Like, he is not going to change, and he consistently will upgrade his phone to the new Samsung or the new Galaxy. I don't even know if it's the same thing because I don't even know because 'cause I'm an Apple girl, so I couldn't tell you. But he is committed, and he keeps telling me, like, "Well, this is better, and this is better, and this is better than Apple's," and I just haven't seen the fruit of that. He tells me it's better, but I feel like it's just not. I feel like he's just wrong. So, I will say I do vehemently disagree with this one. Apple is better than Samsung. I feel like that's known. Think I don't wanna say I don't think that's a hot take. No, actually, it is a hot take because it's just so wrong, but that's okay. If you love Samsung, stop, I guess. I don't know. But you know what? I think we all just need to just agree that, there's nothing wrong with having a Samsung. You can have a Samsung. You can have one all you want. I get it. But it's not better than Apple. And that's where we're leaving this part of the conversation. Okay, moving on. Apple Music is better than Spotify. This, okay, I feel like there's some ways to get around this. I feel like my opinion on this kind of depends. If you're referring to Apple Music being better than Spotify just the way it is, that's one thing. But if you're referring to Apple Music being better than Spotify Premium, I personally don't have Spotify Premium, so I guess I really couldn't give you an educated opinion on this. But I will say, I know there's people who are only Apple Music listeners, and I know there's people who are only Spotify listeners. I am the crazy one. I use both. Don't come for me. Don't tell me I'm insane. Okay, I already know. I like both because Spotify, first of all, Spotify has a vibe. Spotify just has a vibe about it that is just better than Apple Music, in my opinion. And I will say, I like that Spotify has like all those curated playlists. Like, I know you can kind of search for the same thing on Apple Music, but they're never as good. They're never as creative. And I can never find one with the right vibe, and I feel like on Spotify, you can always find exactly what you're looking for. Even with, like, a few words or just one word in the search engine, I feel like it's just like, "Yeah, yeah, no, I know what you mean." It's like that best friend that you have where, like, you don't actually say anything, but they totally understand what you're saying. That's what Spotify feels like to me. But I am so sorry if you heard that motorcycle, that was way too loud. Anyways, um, I will say again, this is me comparing my experience with Apple Music versus Spotify, just the regular Spotify. I do like that Apple Music doesn't have ads. I like that I can just press play and I don't need to worry about an ad. I do like that. And I guess Spotify Premium, I guess it doesn't have ads, but I wouldn't know because I don't have it. So I do like Apple Music, and I like that it connects to everything on my devices. So if I buy a new computer or an iPad or what new phone or whatever, it has all of that saved in the cloud and it just saves it from device to device. Whereas with Spotify, it's a whole other app that I have to download. And also, I forgot about this. I actually have beef with Spotify, and let me tell you why, okay? Because on my TV and on my desktop at work, I'll be listening to my Spotify playlist, just enjoying music. All of a sudden a Spotify ad comes on and then it doesn't play any more music. It just stops. And I can't skip. I can't press play on a new song. No matter what I press play on, it doesn't work. The whole thing just freezes. And then I have to go out and go back in with my TV. I actually have to turn off my TV, leave it off for a little bit, turn it back on, log back into Spotify, and then find what I was listening to. On my desktop, I have to close out that tab, open it back up again, and replay what I was playing. Spotify, okay, I don't know if it's a me issue. I don't know if anyone else has had this issue with Spotify, but I have beef with Spotify because of this. Because I'm sorry, I don't think the ads should take over my whole device. I think that's a bit much. But all in all, I will say I love both. for the most part equally. And I don't know that Apple Music is better than Spotify, but I do enjoy both. And so I'm not going to take sides. But Spotify, if you're listening, please don't take down my podcast and please resolve this issue because I do want to love you and I do love you, but I think we just need to work through this. Wonderful. Moving on. Plain water does have a taste. Um, that's a little weird. First of all, what do you mean like plain water? Just like water? I don't know about that because I will say when I taste water, I don't taste anything, but I also know like different kinds of like different water bottle like companies have different taste, but I can't like describe it. Do you do you guys understand what I mean? Like I feel like regardless of the water that I drink, whether it's like Dasani, Fiji, Eos, whatever, like I do feel like when I drink it, there's no flavor, but I can also tell the difference. Like I won't necessarily drink one and say like, "Oh, I know exactly the brand," but I will say there is a difference between like Fiji water and I'm sorry, not Eos. Eos is the lip balm brand. I'm thinking Voss. One of those things. Anyways, um, I will say there's a difference between like Fiji water and Dasani for sure. I just can't tell you what it is. I don't know. Um, yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. That's really weird. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. I don't even want to elaborate because I don't have much to elaborate on. I have an opinion. I just can't give you a why and I can't really describe anything to back up my opinion. So I will say that's a hot take. But I don't know where I stand on that one. I really don't. Okay, really quickly, I just want to show you guys this sweatshirt that I'm wearing. It is actually the comfiest thing I have. Okay, maybe not the comfiest thing I've ever worn, but it's definitely up there, okay? And it's February. It's the love month, Valentine's Day. And I'm sorry, but whether you're single, whether you're dating, talking to somebody, actually, that's a little messy. I won't bring that up or engaged, married, whatever, I say celebrate Valentine's Day and you can enjoy all the things that come with Valentine's Day, including the colors. This sweatshirt, I don't know if you can see it on the camera. I hope you can. YouTubers, can you see it? I sure hope so. But it's very comfy and it's red, it's a crew neck, and the letters are big and bold and they say that Jesus loves you, which is absolutely true. And I got it from one of my favorite stores in the world, Rebel and Rove. It's in Yuma, Arizona, and it's a locally owned business. And I absolutely love, love, love them. It is just amazing. They have so many cute things. Like, my family already knows every birthday, every Christmas, any holiday where you want to get me a gift, go to Rebel and Rove. I just absolutely love it there. There's so many things that are like Yuma specific, which is so special, but also there are things that aren't Yuma specific, and I feel like anybody could love them. So definitely check them out. They are on Instagram. I think it's just at Rebel and Rove. You can find it in the following of my personal Instagram. I will also be posting about them on the day that I release this. So if you're listening to this on I don't even know what day it's gonna be. February I don't even know. But basically, if you're listening to this on the day that I release this episode, I will have it posted on the Instagram story, and I will also share information about them in the description of this video and of this episode as well because I just need to give them a shout out and they're not paying me for this. This isn't even like an ad. I'm just telling you I love the sweatshirt and I love them and you should support small businesses because that's what we're all about here. So anyways, if you are listening and you want to look for a place to shop for your best friend, your best friend's baby, your kids, your wife, your husband, your grandparents, that person getting engaged, that person that's a teacher, whoever. Basically, there's a gift for absolutely everybody in your life. And I'm telling you this because it's true. I get gifts for every person in my life from Rebel and Rove. I'm talking my mom, my best friends, like my boss. Like you can find a gift for absolutely anybody at Rebel and Rope, and you will love it. So I highly recommend them. Again, they're a locally owned business. I love supporting small businesses. It's so important. And I don't know if you're listening to this and you're from Yuma, maybe you are, maybe you're not, but where I live is really made up of small businesses, and it is really like the foundation of our city. It's so important to us. We have so many locally owned businesses, and I think that's something that's very unique and very special about us that I really love and appreciate and am very passionate about. A couple of Christmases back, we actually did as a family this thing where we only bought Christmas gifts from locally owned businesses because we wanted to support local businesses around the holidays. So I'm obviously very passionate about supporting small businesses. I love just seeing people pursue their dreams and do what they love, and especially when they can do that and shine the light of Jesus. So, again, not an ad. I'm not getting paid for this, but I do say go find Rebel and Rove. You will love them. Anyways, moving on to the next hot take. In and Out is not good, period. Oh, okay. I I can see where you're coming from because I will say their fries are not my favorite. They're good and they're fresh, but they are not my favorite. I like my fries thick and salty and like peppery, and that's just not really In and Out style. However, their burgers are bomb. I think they're just unique. And I think that's why I think it's one of those things where it's like either you like them or you don't. There's not really like an in between. In and Out, I like In and Out. I think it's great. But I will say I can understand how maybe you don't like their style of burger because I will say like it is different. I can't describe it, but, like, I think their burgers are just a little bit different from most burger places. Their fries definitely are, but I do love In-N-Out, and I don't eat there often because the one in my city is literally always busy. And when I say busy, I mean there's, like, 25 cars in the drive-through, and you're gonna be there for 45 minutes in the drive-through. I'm not even joking. I wish I was joking. And it could literally be 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 a.m., 6 p.m., 2 p.m., 8 a.m. It doesn't matter. They are constantly busy. I've literally never been to the In N Out in my city where they did not have a line of 25 cars in the drive through. It's insane, which that just goes to show that they are really, really good. But I will say also, I have, and this is just like a little thing about me, I have this like thing where I cannot go to In and Out and not get a milkshake. Even if I don't want a milkshake, I will get one. And it's because the first time I ever had In and Out was with one of my well, we used to be we used to be friends, but some stuff happened and she kind of went off the deep end. And you know what? It happens to the best of us. But anyways, that's so not the point of my so not the point of my story. But she was like something really big was going on in her life, and we went and we got In and Out, and it was the first time I ever tried it, and I was like, "Oh, this is really good." And I got a milkshake. And so kind of like in remembrance of the first time I tried it and that being a significant day, not really for me, but somehow it still ended up being like a core memory. I just always get a milkshake when I go to In and Out. I can't not. Like even if I'm dehydrated, which is like basically 24/7 because I don't ever drink water, but even if I'm, like, dehydrated or I want a lemonade or I want a Sprite or whatever, I will get a milkshake because I just have to. Like, at this point, this has been going on for years, like 10 years at least. So, at this point, it's just not gonna stop. I have to do it because I just feel like I have to at this point. But I will say I like In and Out. Think that I don't think it's bad. I like it. I think it's good. But you're totally entitled to your opinion. Not everybody has the same taste, but I like it. I will continue going there. And I do love that they put the verses on the bottom of the cups. That is really cool. Okay, next one. Skinny jeans are ugly and should not come back. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about this. That is a toughie. That one's hard because I personally don't ever wear skinny jeans. I mean, of course, we all, most of us went through that era in like the 2010s where like skinny jeans were like the thing. It kinda had to do with, like, that Tumblr aesthetic and everything, but I am not, like, the world's biggest fan of skinny jeans. I think they're cute on certain people, but I don't really like wearing them, but that's because I am a huge believer in wear what you're comfortable in. Because if you're not comfortable, you're just going to be miserable. And if I don't like my outfit that I'm in, it will literally put me in a bad mood. So I want to be happy with what I'm wearing. And part of that comes with being comfortable and not going out in super uncomfortable things. So I will say I prefer baggier, like wide leg jeans or even like straight leg jeans. I also just like the way they look on me. But I don't think skinny jeans are ugly and I don't have an issue with them coming back. I actually think it's kind of funny and just like a huge peek into the influence of influencers and like social media stars. I think it's funny that skinny jeans are like coming back now because of Alex Earl. And I will say, Alex Earl is the complete opposite of me. Our lives could not look any more different and like any more different, honestly. Like we are complete opposites. I don't really have anything in common with her other than being a white blonde female in my 20s. That's basically it. But I really like her, you guys. She's what is the word I'm looking for? She's she definitely wait what? She paves the way, that's what I was trying to say. She paves the way and has paved the way for a lot of things, including, like, bringing skinny jeans back. I think her influence is very interesting. She definitely has an influence over people for sure, and she, I wanna say, was, like, one of the first really standout TikTok stars who I think has done a lot with her influence and has really, like, she literally changes people. Like, she literally influences people to do things, and I just think it's so interesting, but I kinda like her because she does live such a different life from me, and I could never live that life, so I do really enjoy watching her and listening to her. Is it something I would ever do? No, like, I would never live her lifestyle, but props to her, for number 1, being able to handle her lifestyle, and I just it's entertaining. It's entertaining, and I love hearing her stories about her girls' night out and her take on her relationship advice with NFL man, sorry, and yeah, I think she's funny and she's charming, and I think she's cool, and she does seem very genuine. I know that's a hard thing to say because it's like, well, she's on social media. How do you know she's a real genuine person? I think I've heard enough stories of, like, interactions with her, and I think a lot of, like, her brand is being genuine and real and authentic, whether it's, like, put together or not, and I think that's part of what makes her so likable, is that she's so not put together, and she is, like, literally her podcast name is Hot Mess because she talks about being a hot mess, and everyone calls her a hot mess, which is so relatable, at least to me. I don't know about you guys, but I often do not feel like I have it together, and I feel like a hot mess. So I will say I am an Alex Earl fan. Do I agree with everything she does and says? No. Could I ever live her lifestyle? Definitely not. But I kind of like her. She's charming. She's cool. She has a big influence and she does a lot of philanthropy. She does a lot of giving back, which I think is very neat. And I think it's cool seeing someone who is like so rich, so wealthy, has so much going for her, literally has, like, at least from what we can see, it looks like she has the ideal life, and she's still like, "Yeah, I can't get my life together. I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm just doing my best, trying to keep my skin from breaking out, trying to figure out, friendships and relationships and what I wanna do with my life, and I'm doing my best, and I'm gonna pursue whatever door comes in front of me." I have to respect her for that. I admire her for that. Anyways, that was just a little rant, but I will say, I think it's interesting that she has really brought skinny jeans back. Props to her. But I mean, I don't have anything wrong with them coming back. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If people like skinny jeans, they can wear skinny jeans, as long as they're not wearing like the weird youth pastor fit. But I will say, wear what you want, as long as you're being modest and intentional and really thinking like, am I honoring God with what I'm wearing? Wear what you want. Skinny jeans are not that big of a deal. That is a hot take, but I don't think it's a big deal. I think we have bigger problems in this world. Okay. Oh, another one on clothing. The whole oversized clothing trend doesn't look good. I firmly disagree with this one. I really do. I wear oversized clothes all the time. And it's funny because I'm only 4'11", and I probably look like a little crazy wearing oversized clothes because I probably just look like a little girl playing dress up with like her mommy or her daddy's clothes, which is fine. But I love the oversized look. I like the baggy look. I think at least for me personally, like, I do definitely try to find things that do fit me well and don't look, like, ridiculously oversized to where I do look like I'm drowning in the clothes, and, like, sometimes you want things that are a little more fitted, but I like the oversized look. I think it's cool. Like, even last night, I was wearing like baggy jeans and a top and then an oversized jacket, like an oversized leather jacket. And I was like, I kind of like this outfit. If you ever see me like, especially when I go to youth or hang out with my friends or stuff, like I wear like baggy sweats. I wear baggy clothes because I like the way it looks. I think it looks cool and I think it's not about the fit. I think it's about how you style it. So if you can style it well, then I don't think there's an issue. And that's what I try to do when I wear baggy clothes. Now, of course, there are some times where I'm like, I'm just wearing baggy clothes because I need to be comfortable right now and I don't care about how it fits. I just want to be comfortable. But I think if you can style it and it does match your personality and what you like and it really does reflect you and like your personal taste, I say go for it. Like I said, like I would be a hypocrite to say, "Oh yeah, it looks bad," because I love wearing baggy clothes and I think again, if you style it with like certain pieces and you wear it well, wear it. I'm all for it. Oh, I love this one and I completely agree with this one. Oh my gosh. Okay, this person said country music slaps. Guys, I am the number one country music defender. I will die listening to country music. Actually, that's probably not true. If I knew I was dying, I would probably be listening to worship. But you understand my point. I do love country music. I was raised on country music. I mean, I was raised on like 90s female country stars, Shania Twain, who else? Who else? Martina McBride, Faith Hill, Reba McEntire, Carrie Underwood, like, I was raised on that, and I have always been raised on country music. I love country music. I understand that some people don't like it because it's like, well, it's all about beer and guns and relationships and your dog and your farm and your tractor, and you know what? What about it? What about it? What's wrong with that? If people want to sing about tractors, let them sing about tractors. If it's a catchy tune and they're singing about farming the fields, I don't even think that's even remotely close to being the right term. But if they want to use a catchy tune to sing about farming, I'm here for it and I will sing that song. I am not a farmer. I'm not a farmer by any means. I can't even keep cacti alive, which is really saying something because I literally live in the desert and they require like zero water. But I'm not a farmer. Do I love farming songs and songs about farming and all that country music? I really do. I love it. But I do understand where people are like, well, it's all the same. I get it. There are some country songs where I'm like, this is kind of dumb. This doesn't, like, there's no thought. There was no thought behind this song. But I love it. And I do love the simplicity. Like, why are we constantly singing about tragic, horrible, messed up things? Like, let's appreciate the sunset and a nice cold beer and, sitting with your dog at your feet and your beautiful white picket fence house. Like, sometimes it really is about the little things. And if that's what people want to sing about, go right ahead. But I love country artists. I love country music. It's one of my top genres. I listen to it almost every single day. I love country music and I will love country music till the day I die. I was born and raised on it. I love it to this day. I love country music. I think it's beautiful. So I agree. Oh my gosh, you guys, stop. Okay, I'm sorry. That was probably a little bit of a dramatic reaction, but I will say this one's going to get me heated. Okay, this one will actually get me heated. This one says pretty privilege is real. You guys, I fear I agree. I fear they're not wrong. I do think pretty privilege is real. And I'm saying that because I notice it on days when I go out. I'm sorry, my nose is so itchy. On days when I go out looking like a bum, I mean, I don't get treated poorly, but then there's days where I go out and I look amazing. And people are noticing me, people are complimenting me.